What's going on, Steelers Nation? Doing a little Steelers Ravens recap. Week 18, final regular season game. Steelers come away victorious 17-10. It was an interesting one, man. I think the weather, the elements made that one pretty interesting to watch, to be honest with you. A close game, just like kind of what we expected, even with Baltimore, resting the majority of their impact players, I should say. Um, it was going to be close. It wasn't like either team was going to blow one another out. That's just not how those Steelers Ravens games transpire. No matter who's a quarterback, no matter who's playing, Tomlin, Harbaugh, those guys are going to have their teams ready to play. And overall, interesting one. Definitely one. You just look at the list of inactives for Baltimore's side, and this is when the Steelers had no excuse to lose this game. They had to come away with this one, and fortunately, they were ended up able to come away with the W. Was really impressed with a couple different things today on the road, but first and foremost, Najee Harris. Man, I loved watching him run the ball today. We talked about it in the preview show this morning about just like how different the offense has been, really since like the first time these teams played. Brought up that they only ran like one gap scheme run in that matchup, and then today, like you saw, like just getting downhill, like all of their successful runs pretty much were up the middle. You saw some one back power. I saw some dart. They had his first touchdown was on I think it was a trap play. Isaac Samalo, who I thought also had a really good game, planted somebody on his block on that one. I mean, it was just that downhill running it was like a Yinzer's dream, right? Like everybody talks about like how it was back in the 90s, like with Jerome Bettis and stuff. Like that's what that kind of reminded me of. Ugly atmosphere, rain, AFC North type football. You can say what you want. Like I know a lot Najee catches a lot of heat like on social media and stuff, and I see it. And I think Najee's a solid player, man. But like when you take a running back in the first round, like these are the types of games that you really envision that guy having. You want him to be an impact player. And today, man, like he was an impact player for sure. You just look at some of the numbers, over 100 yards, 4.3 yards per carry. I don't really even think that does it justice, just to show you how much he was doing for the offense. I mean, 54% of his runs were successful. That's an elite number. They were able to stay in third and short, second manageable. They really were never, I felt like, or very few times today, like behind the chains. And that's always something that, gives me pause just with the Steelers offensive line with their tackle situation right now, which we'll get to a little bit later. But with McDonald, that was something I kept harping on, not in the preview show, but on Twitter. Like you have to stay out of third and crazy long because McDonald will just drop all them simulated pressures, the exotic looks and stuff. And overall, I really like what Harris did today. Took care of the football. I think he let one drop, I think on like first or second carry of the game. Ball security was tough with the weather, and we'll talk a little bit about that with Jalen Warren. But overall, just run game, awesome, fantastic. Kind of want to go touch on a little bit like with Mason Rudolph. This game was, I would say, like a little bit shakier in the early goings. I thought that he had that really key third down conversion at the beginning of the first quarter to Deontay Johnson, which I thought was a really nice throw away from leverage. He it was mostly checkdowns today. Like I want to say that he only completed like one throw over 10 yards, but it was the big one. You talk about the slant kind of inbreaker to Deontay Johnson. Really, with the Ravens, at least when I saw the replay, it looked like the Ravens were playing like stubby to that side, but basically he had a one-on-one on the outside. Deontay does a good job crossing the guy's face, and the ball's on the money, hits him in stride, he runs away like 70-yard touchdown. Those type of plays, man, they're huge. I mean, absolutely huge swings of momentum. You look at, some of the success rate numbers, 52% success rate. Like he was in the negatives for EPA per total EPA per play. But overall, like I thought he was fine given everything. It's not, anything that he can control in terms of like who played on Baltimore's side. I mean, they still had some starters out there, some starting defensive linemen, Patrick Queen, some of their safeties. Like, I thought that he played well. Didn't put the ball in harm's way. The first drive of the game, I think he had a dropped interception to Marcus Williams. That was just a result of him staring down the middle of the field, and that's what happens in the NFL. If you stare in the middle of the field, stare guys down, you put the ball in harm's way. But other than that, clean football game. Like I said, I think only like 2 turnover-worthy plays in the last 3 weeks, and that's been big as far as the quarterback play. He did enough to win. He's managing the game. That's what they need right now. And, came away with the dub. That's the most important thing. Um, 6 for 15 on third down. So they had some, it was a little bit up and down throughout the game, but overall, pretty clean in terms of that. They had, a false start penalty. The drive right before the half was just messy from an operation standpoint. They took a delay of game. The tackles had issues. I know a lot of people were asking, like, well, why are they going empty? The reason why they were going empty so much on like third downs is like Baltimore was playing a lot of quarters. So they were trying to like make sure that they weren't like leaving Pickens with all those one-on-ones, because that's something that hurt them last time these two teams played. All those back shoulders and then the game winner to Pickens over the top. They were making sure to like, make sure to have safety help to his side. But when you're playing those quarters, looks like one of the ways to kind of spread those teams out. And also because it helps you with guys like McDonald that like to draw up exotic blitzes, you spread the formation out. It helps them either check to something, or it keeps them a little bit more, vanilla in what they're able to do. So I like the decision to go empty. It's just, it sucks because, the tackles just kind of lost their minds a little bit before the half. Dan Moore got beat several times in a row by Kyle Van Noy, who's not really even a pure pass rusher. I know he's got a good amount of sacks this year, but he's not the guy that just wins a ton of one-on-ones. The strip sack before the half was really unfortunate. That was a pretty quick pressure. I thought the play before that Broderick got beat, I thought that was not a good rep from Broderick, but I thought that Mason held the ball a little bit too long on that one as well. But want to go back and look at the tape, kind of what was downfield and what the play was. But overall, like, it wasn't going to be a performance that was going to be anything to write home about, just with the weather and, AFC North. I didn't expect like them to put up the same type of numbers that they had put up the last couple of weeks. Less than 300 yards of offense, 17 points. I mean, they did enough to win today on offense, and I thought that was good enough, So let's go over to the defensive side of the ball. A lot of key contributions here. First and foremost, man, like the edge rushers. I thought Alex Highsmith played phenomenal. I'm about to go look and see like what the actual box score had. I mean, the dude had to have close to double-digit pressures. I actually did a little thread on Twitter today, like talking about like pressures, advanced numbers, pass rush win rate, all that stuff, and like why it matters. Like Highsmith's been an incredibly like unlucky rusher, I feel like, this year. He's winning a lot of reps, he's getting a lot of pressures, and but like the sacks just haven't been there. Like he only has 7 sacks. It's like half of what he had last year, but I actually think he's been playing better this year than he did last year. And you just like today was a good example. Like there were so many times where like he was winning around the edge and it was either forcing Huntley off his spot. So like him hitching up, like the TJ's first sack that he got was a direct result of Alex winning off the edge, off the exterior, and then forces Huntley to step up, and Watts like right there in the middle of the field and ends up getting a sack. And there was other times where like he was instantly winning and forcing Huntley to break the pocket on the other side. And it's, that cuts the field in half. There were some good plays that came out of those pressures, but TJ did his normal thing. Like I talked about the first sack, but the second one, he was shot out of a freaking cannon, bends the edge, really quick, high quality rep for another sack. Really unfortunate that he got banged up. It sounds like I think I'm hearing like MCL. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind because I've been working, doing my articles and stuff. But looks like an MCL. That's usually a multi-week injury. So like even if the Steelers get in next week, is he going to be available? I'm sure he's going to try to play. It sounded like he was trying to get back in the game today. Dude's a maniac. They definitely need him on the field. We don't need to even talk about the numbers as far as like what the Steelers defense has done in years past with and without him. And we know how big of an impact he makes. So that's probably going to be the biggest storyline. Like if they do get in, of course we got all day tomorrow to kind of sweat these results out, but if they do get in, like what's his health look like? So other guys, Mark Robinson had a couple nice plays. He had that sack and then another forced fumble. Just guys stepping up, like Eric Rowe. Been super impressed with how he's played, man. Like this is a guy that literally comes in off the street and is not just giving you like acceptable safety play, but he's making impact plays. Like he had an interception, I think it was against the Bengals, and then today he forces that fumble in the fourth quarter, and that's a 1-score game at that point. He gets the fumble, and then it's a 2-score game. It's basically over at that point, and just an awesome play on his regard. He had that like Peanut Tillman kind of punch out. Just really good play from the safety groups. I know Patrick Peterson missed that tackle on the first touchdown to likely up the seam. That was just a really good play call. Tough one there, but only thing on defense I really had to complain about, I thought secondary, it seemed like the coverage was very good. Just whenever the balls were thrown, like was a lot of tight coverage. Wasn't really anything to write home about in terms of pass defense. I thought that the only thing that I would have liked to see them do is just hammer down a little bit better on Hundley as far as like keeping him in the pocket. That was something we talked about in the preview. Keeping him in the pocket, corral him, don't let him get out. I just thought there was too many times where like the rush lanes were wide open or guys were in the same gap, not maintaining gap integrity, and he was able to kind of scramble out or make big plays with his legs. And there was a couple times where he was able to kind of hit receivers outside of the pocket as well. So just like little stuff like that. But I mean the results, 10 points allowed. I mean I think they allowed like 230 yards or something like that. It was less than 4 yards per play. That's all good stuff, guys. I mean, like I don't really have anything to complain about. 38% success rate. I mean, it's good stuff. This is an offense like we talked about the preview. I know, there's no Lamar and they're missing a lot of guys, but this is an offense that's been absolutely rolling over the past couple weeks, really all season. And Baltimore's a heck of a team, and can't really read too much into this one just because of the lack of guys that played. But I thought the Steelers played well enough to win. They deserved this one. 10-7. I'm really interested in seeing kind of what happens over the next 24 hours, man. I mean, it's obviously Indianapolis and Houston are playing right now. That one kind of has a little bit to do with it, but unless it's a tie, it doesn't really matter for the Steelers. But tomorrow we got Jacksonville, Tennessee. We need the Titans to win that one in order for the Steelers to get in. And then if that doesn't go their way, we got to wait till the Sunday night game with Buffalo. Buffalo and Miami. Need Miami to win that one. So it's going to be a sweaty next like 24 hours, man. It's going to be interesting. Just have to kind of see how the ball rolls, man. I mean, I do think, as frustrating as it is that they had that 3-game drought, they lost those 3 in a row against opponents that I think everybody pretty much believes that they should have at least won one, if not multiple of those games. And as frustrating as that is, I mean, you have to at least commend them for bouncing back, I feel like, over these past couple weeks, because it would have been really easy. You're on your third string quarterback, you're putting him in there, you got the starter banged up, and, the season looks lost and whatever. 7-7, I think is what they were. It would have been really easy to kind of pack it in, a lot of drama and all that stuff. And, they didn't do that. And I think that finishing the season on a high note, was about the best. I mean, it was the best outcome. Go 3-0 and just see where the chips lay. And, they've put themselves obviously in a really good position right here to at least try to see if they can get some help to get in. And then if you get in the dance, you just have to see what happens. I mean, like I said, TJ is the big thing that I'm waiting on, seeing, what his availability is going to be. But more than anything, man, like it's been an awesome regular season, not just like having the channel, but like talking with you guys on social media, on Twitter. Football is like my main hobby, so every week is nice, and I'd love to be able to do this for at least another week, and just break another game down, watch more film, and have something to look forward to, something to play for. So hopefully they get in. Fingers crossed. As always, I appreciate you guys tapping in with me. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you guys thought of the game, all that good stuff, and that's greatly appreciated on my end. Just as a reminder, Steelers Now, make sure y'all go check out my written content. There's dudes and duds, winners and losers from this game. There's going to be an article up either tomorrow or Monday on some NFL draft prospects in the college football national title game to watch for. Just some brief scouting reports, including on both quarterbacks. So if you guys are interested in some draft content, go check that out. I will hopefully, get the film, and then, if things work out, I'll be able to put something together here in the next couple of days. But other than that, I will check you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Fingers crossed. Hopefully things, go our way.